Hello, I'm Allison Kaplan. On behalf of everyone at Twin Cities Business, welcome to our TCB100 and 2020 Person of the Year Reveal Party and Celebration. You'll see some familiar faces and hopefully some new ones. The individuals on our list of people to know in 2021 are movers and shakers, emerging leaders, and veterans. But this year, we put extra emphasis on those who will blaze a trail out of a pandemic and into a business universe increasingly defined by its commitment to equity. Following the reveal of our TCB100 list, you'll meet our pick for Person, make that People of the Year. Be sure to stay tuned for their words of wisdom. Feel free to use the chat section on your screen to congratulate our honorees during the event and interact with one another. It might not be quite as fun as clinking glasses, but it's a great way to network and connect right now. Of course, we would not be able to pull off this event without your attendance and the support of our event sponsor, Accenture.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us to celebrate Minnesota's Newsmakers, Trailblazers, and Innovators. And thank you, Twin Cities Business, for this celebration of incredible leaders making a difference in our region. I'm Christy Sovereign, Senior Managing Director for Accenture in Minneapolis, and I'm so happy to be here with you all. Minnesota leaders being celebrated today, we applaud you. Thank you for leading us through the challenges we've faced over the past year. Thank you for pursuing innovative opportunities to outmaneuver uncertainty for Minnesota and around the world. Thank you for caring so deeply about what you do and for your teams and for our community. And thank you for leading with purpose and for making our region a better place because of it. Accenture is proud to sponsor this year's event and celebrate these incredible leaders. At Accenture, our purpose is clear. We focus on delivering on the promise of technology and human ingenuity. We have an unwavering commitment to inclusion and diversity, racial justice, and equity for all. We act for impact and lead through change, and we believe that our current circumstances present us with the opportunity to create a better future for us all. We recognize that at the heart of every great change is a great human, and I'm proud to be working and living in Minnesota with the great humans being recognized and celebrated today. Congratulations to you all, and thank you for leading the way.
Well, rather than lamenting the cocktail party we're missing out on because of COVID-19, we're excited to tell you what's new with our annual celebration. This year, with everyone stuck at home and totally proficient on Zoom, we had the chance to hand the mic to our movers and shakers on the TCB100 list. So you're about to hear from them directly. Our editorial team spends months working on this list, reviewing news stories that stand out, thinking about projects in the pipeline, and talking to trusted sources about the people who make a difference in our community. This year, the list feels especially consequential with so many challenges and opportunities ahead. We thought about our TCB100 in 6 categories: emerging leaders, innovators, change agents, builders who are growing our economy and finding ways to iterate in the middle of a pandemic, healers who are working to improve our health, wellness, and environment. And in a year when relationships are top of mind, Rooted is our nod to those who are deeply established and connected with the community. So what do you say? Let's meet them.
I'm Gay Adams Massey, CEO of YWCA St. Paul. I'm so honored to have been named to the TCB 100. At YW, we're on a mission to eliminate racism and empower women. This year, I'm especially focused on our racial justice work and programs in supportive housing, employment, and youth empowerment. Thank you, TCB.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say thank you so much for your support and encouragement. And thank you to Twin Cities Business for this honor of being selected as one of the 100 people to know. I will continue standing on the front lines, demanding changes to policies and laws, and standing up for justice. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mike Ballweber. On behalf of Doosan Bobcat North America, thank you, Twin Cities Business, for this recognition. We continue to make investments to grow and innovate our manufacturing and global operations in Minnesota. In 2021, we will welcome many new employees to our team and bring additional economic growth to the state. It's great to be part of this business community. Thank you.
Hello, I'm honored to be part of this amazing group of people. Thank you, Twin Cities Business Magazine. At the foundation, we focus on reducing disparities in homelessness, and we've recently added a racial justice commitment. But we know partnerships are a critical part of our work, and we're thankful to be part of this generous community.
Wagwan. I'm Tommy Beavis with Pimento Jamaican Kitchen and Pimento Relief Services. I couldn't be more honored to receive this recognition from Twin Cities Business. This one I dedicate to the entire Twin Cities community, and especially those who are working on the front lines of liberation, economic liberation, political liberation, and social liberation. This one's for you.
Hello, I'm Sarah Bellamy, Artistic Director of Penumbra Theater, soon to be Penumbra Center for Racial Healing. I want to thank you all for the recognition. It means a lot to see that our work is valued by our community. Thank you so much.
I'm Lauren Bennett-McGinty, Executive Director of the Minnesota Craft Brewers Guild. I am honored to make the TCB100 list this year, and I'm humbled to work with some of the most innovative and resilient business owners and employees in our state. As we push through 2020, we will come out stronger in 2021, and I hope that in addition to getting to know me, you get to know your local breweries too.
Hello, my name's Carl Benson, President and CEO of the Minnesota Black Chamber of Commerce. And thank you, Twin Cities Business, for this amazing honor. As a leader in Minneapolis-St. Paul, navigating all the challenges of 2020, I look forward to effecting change through corporate and community partners in 2021. Again, thank you.
Hi, my name is Brad Benson, and I'm a professor at the University of Minnesota Medical School, and I serve as the Chief Academic Officer for mHealth Fairview. Thanks, Twin Cities Business, for the invitation to be a part of this list. I got the best job in the world. Every day I support the people at the front line and in the research labs who are really trying to keep us safe from COVID. Thanks.
Thank you so much for this honor. It truly is humbling and represents so many leaders who have allowed us to partner with them. In 2021, the work grows and goes deeper as we expand nationally our consulting services and help leaders all across this country accelerate the path to closing racial wealth gaps and growing our economy.
Hey guys, it's Jude Bricker at Sun Country. Thank you for the honor. We're excited to be here in 2021 to support Minnesotans on their vacations. We got a bunch of new markets coming and a lot more airplanes to support more frequencies to the places you love to go.
Hi, I'm Kate Semino, and I'm so honored to be on the TCB100 list this year. At the Citizens League, we bring together people of different perspectives and backgrounds to use their voice in shaping public policy. What I'm excited about in 2021 is seeing all the people stepping toward civic engagement, bringing their talents and passions to make our communities even stronger. Thank you again.
Hi, I'm Patrick Kulikin. I'm the Editor-in-Chief of Minnesota Reformer. I want to thank TCB for this great honor, as well as our contributors, our talented staff, and our wonderful community of readers. We expect to do some great journalism coming up in the next year. And if this is some elaborate ruse by my staff, I will get you back.
Yeah, hi, Twin City Business 100. I'm Bob Dillon, and this is Jay Dillon, and we're with Yardbird.
We're excited for the future of our company and to get more people outdoors. Thanks so much for the honor of being in the TCB 100.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Twin Cities Business. It's an honor to be recognized on this list with so many great leaders. Best Buy's purpose to enrich lives through technology has never been more important. Our focus on using technology to help address the healthcare needs of our time, helping people seek guidance to age gracefully in their homes, has become even more relevant as the world responds to the pandemic and telehealth becomes more mainstream.
Hey everyone, TD Dixon here. I want to just say thank you. So excited to be on the top 100 list. Thank you again. It's an incredible honor and really excited about big things in 2021. Have a great day.
Hello. This is Renee Dossman, President of the Neighborhood Development Center. Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for this honor. I'm excited for next year, excited for NDC to continue the work that we do daily, creating equitable solutions and systems for BIPOC entrepreneurs. Our desire is for entrepreneurs to not only survive these uncertain times, but to thrive. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Deshaun Drew, the president of Minnesota Public Radio. Thank you for naming me to the TCB100. I appreciate the nod. I'm so excited about the great work we'll all be doing in the years ahead to continue strengthening our community.
Hello everyone, I'm Kira Fernandez, Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer and Vice President of HR at Target. Thank you so much for this recognition, Twin City business community. I'm really looking forward to 2021, our focus on bringing inclusivity, equity, and diversity to our entire Target team and communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the recognition, but more importantly for the spotlight and recognition of the impactful role that Thomson Reuters Legal plays in our local community and the global legal system. Thanks again.
Hi, I'm Julie Fitzgerald, Managing Director of Forecast 5 Analytics, and thank you to Twin Cities Business Magazine for this honor. It is my pleasure to work with school districts across the country, helping them keep students learning during these difficult times. Thank you.
Hello, I am Sarah Fossen, and I am the Director of Marketing and Experience for Rosedale Center. I am only on this list because I know and have worked with the best in the business. So if we haven't connected yet, find me on LinkedIn. And if you haven't been to Rosedale Center lately, you must. I recommend the holidays because we have so many fun, edgy, cool things going on. So I look forward to seeing you soon and connecting on social media. Thanks.
Thank you so much for recognizing me as someone to know in 2021, although I should say sincerely that I would like to know all of you so that I could thank you for everything you do to support the university, for the way in which you as our friends, supporters, partners, alums, allow us to fulfill our mission to serve Minnesotans through teaching, research, and service at world-class levels that impact the entire globe. So thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Julie Gilbert. Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for this incredible honor. When I first found out about this, I was shocked. It has been an absolute humbling experience full of incredible blessings to be an entrepreneur in the Twin Cities over the past 20 years, building businesses, my passion, along with a very special strategic focus of empowering women and creating equality for all. Thank you again, Twin Cities Business, and God bless.
Hello, I'm Rick Gomez, representing Target, and I am really proud of Target's team members who have been working on the front line, making sure our guests get the essentials that they need during this pandemic. Thank you, team members, and thank you, TCB100.
Hi. Hi, I'm Mary Grove. I'm managing partner at Bread and Butter Ventures and super appreciative for this honor as I look ahead at the coming year. I'm just really excited about the opportunity to identify, invest in, and back the best companies in the world, and specifically leverage our Minnesota home field advantage and industry strengths and infrastructures to support them.
And I'm Steve Grove, the Commissioner of DEED. We have spent most of this year, of course, responding to the COVID-19 pandemic alongside businesses across our state. It's been an honor to serve in that way, and really over the next year, focus on recovery, how we can get this economy back on track for everyone across the state. Thanks so much for the honor, and have a great day.
Hello, I'm Dean Hager, CEO of JAMP. Thank you, Twin Cities Business. This recognition is the result of the incredible work done by more than 1,400 JAMPs across the globe that I'm honored to work with every day. I think 2020 has led to innovative thought and action that will make all of us better. Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for showcasing the tremendous work of our Minnesota companies.
Hello, Anissa Haji-Momin, Assistant Commissioner for Immigrant and Refugee Affairs. I'm really thrilled to be named to the Twin Cities 100. Here at Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development, we are working hard to address the needs of our immigrant and refugee communities. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Rachel Hardiman, the inaugural Blue Cross Endowed Professor of Health and Racial Equity and founder of the Measuring and Operationalizing Racism to Achieve Health Equity Research Lab. I am beyond thrilled to be named to the TCB100. My life's work seeks to manifest racial justice through my research so that all people have the opportunity to live healthy and fulfilling lives. While 2020 has unveiled some hard truths for our society, I look towards 2021 with hope, courage, and a commitment to change. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sarah Harris from Aon Housing. Thanks so much for including me in the 100 People to Know. Can't wait to tell my teenagers. As we're all participating in this event from home, there's no better reminder of the importance of having a home. So may 2021 be healthier and provide homes for all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Martin Hartshorn, CEO of When I Work. Over 150,000 workplaces use When I Work for employee scheduling, time tracking, and communications. I'm honored and excited to be included in the TCB100 for 2021. It's going to be an amazing year for Minneapolis and an amazing year for When I Work. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chad Hetherington, CEO and founder of The Stable, and I couldn't be more pumped to be part of this year's TCB100. Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for the recognition. Despite everything that's happened to all of us in 2020, I couldn't be more excited about our growth as a company and where we're headed in the future. 2021 is going to be awesome. Thanks.
I'm Chris Hilger, CEO of Securian Financial. I believe 2021 will be a year when we begin to feel liberated from some of the challenges we've all been experiencing this year. And I'm looking forward to the positive energy and creativity that will impact the work being done in our businesses and across our community.
Hi, I'm Puhua Yang Hoffman, TCB100 alumna. Honored to be on the list again this year, especially in my new role at the St. Paul and Minnesota Foundation. In 2021, I look forward to more collaboration and partnerships with all of you.
Hello, I'm Damaris Hollingsworth. I am an inclusive architect and urban designer. I'm the founder and the owner of Design by Mello, which is a design, consulting, and development services company that I founded a couple of years ago. It was a very nice surprise when I received the notification that I was part of this group. I was not even aware I had been nominated. So I am beyond grateful and very honored to be here. Thank you.
I'm Jody Hubler, president of Bind, a company determined to alter the course of health insurance in this country. What an honor it is to be named to the TCB100 list. I so love being a part of this active and hardworking community. Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for this meaningful recognition.
Hi, I'm Eric Jackson. I'm the founder and chairman of Pipeline Foods based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm really thrilled to be named to the TCB100 this year and really wish we could all get together in person to celebrate, but we'll have to wait until next year to do so. I'd like to really thank my colleagues and my customers and our farmer suppliers for being diligent during this difficult period. I'm confident for better times in 2021.
Hi, I'm Scott Jagosinski, co-founder at Alchemy 365. Thanks to Twin Cities Business for the recognition, but I really want to put the spotlight on the leadership team, the coaches, and the members at Alchemy 365. It's been a tough, challenging 2020, but we're ready to rebound in 2021. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Rod Johansson, CEO of Home Furniture, Gabberts, and Dock 86. I'm honored to represent all our home brands as part of the Twin Cities Business 100. With all the changes this year, we've seen many of you in our showrooms. Our home team has been working hard to help you find solutions to make your home the place for your family to work, learn, and be safe. That's why we say it. I hope you do too. There's no place like home.
Hello, I'm Dr. Eric Jolly, President and CEO of the St. Paul and Minnesota Foundation. In our work, we are dedicated to build a just, equitable, and vibrant Minnesota in which all communities and people thrive. It is through the TCB 100 that we tap into a network of inspiring leaders who will help us take on these deep challenges and their networks that show us that a truly connected Minnesota is what gives us hope for our vibrant future. Thank you so much.
I'm Gina Castell, Executive Partner at Favorite Drinker. I'm grateful for this recognition and so proud of my colleagues for their creativity and determination in our first year as a new firm. And I'm looking forward to building further in 2021.
Hi, Rita Katona here. Thank you so much for this recognition, Twin Cities Business.
I couldn't be more proud of the entire team at So Good So You for driving record results and launching innovative eco-friendly packaging in such a challenging year. Here's to a brighter 2021. Cheers!
Hello, I'm John Kelly, founder and CEO of NextBen, and I'm honored to be named to Twin Cities Business 100. At NextBen, we'll continue to build out our technology platform, helping to bring the health insurance industry into the 21st century, and helping to lead the industry into the future.
I'm Sharon Kennedy Vickers. Thank you, Twin Cities Business Magazine. And I'm grateful for this honor. And I'm also excited to continue building digital tools that make the city of St. Paul more safe and welcoming for all of its residents.
Hi, I'm Ann Kim, and I'm the chef owner of Pizzeria Lola, Hello Pizza, Young Joni, and the upcoming Suki and Mimi. I know these have been really challenging times for all of us, especially those of us in the restaurant industry, but I was reminded of something that a good friend and mentor of mine told me, that good things come to those who wait, better things come to those who never give up, and the best things come to those who believe. So I choose to believe, I choose to keep the faith, be strong, and please support your local restaurants.
I'm Rahul Krane, CEO of the Minnesota Hospital Association. Thank you, Twin Cities Business. In 2021, Minnesota's hospitals and healthcare systems and our frontline healthcare heroes will be innovating in not just delivery, but also financing of healthcare.
It truly is an honor to be recognized for this award. Thank you so much for that. But understand, in my mind, this is a reflection of the incredible work that the 75,000 professional men and women and my colleagues at Delta have delivered over the most challenging of times this past year. I thank them for that and know that collectively, we look forward to having you on board, rebuilding our network, and giving you an experience that's even better in 2021. Thank you so much.
My name is Zoe Levine, the toilet paper queen at Bin Bamboo Paper. I'm the CEO and founder, and I'm honored to be included in your top TCB100 list. I know that this year has been, pun intended, pretty crappy, and I look forward to all that's to come in 2021. Thank you again.
My name's Alyssa Light, and I have the deep honor of being the Executive Director of Family Tree Clinic, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be named to the TCB100 list this year. I'm free in my own body for the first time is something a patient wrote to us about their care experience at Family Tree this year. And in 2021, we are going to do so much more of that.
Hi, I'm Katie Luber. I'm the president and director of the Minneapolis Institute of Art, and I'm looking forward to welcoming you all back to the museum in the coming year. Thank you so much for being supporters of the museum.
Hello, and thank you so very much. On behalf of our staff and all of our clients, we are so grateful for this recognition. We much appreciate it. Thank you so very much. This recognition is a moment of reflection, a moment of appreciation, and we hope to be more than worthy of it as we complete our work in the coming year. Thank you so very much.
Hi, I'm Katie Mattis-Sarver. From all of us at Bell Bank, thank you for this great recognition. As our Community Development Officer, I look forward to the opportunity to get to know each of you as we find ways to do great work in our neighborhoods and communities.
I'm Mike Max from WCCO Television and Radio. Thank you very much for including me in the list. And a big thank you to all the people I play with on those two great teams. What do I look forward to covering in 2021? That's easy. Can the city of Minneapolis be restored again? Will it ever be saved? Can sports help along that way and help aid it? Because what we saw in 2020 was not good. And if there's a goal for 2021 that I don't know if it can be accomplished or not is, can they take the boards off of downtown Minneapolis?
Hello, I'm Fiona McRae with Grey Wolf Press. So happy to be part of the Twin Cities Business Top 100, and I look forward to bringing you poetry, fiction and non-fiction books next year, which can all be read during the pandemic, and hopefully you can find them at your independent bookstore.
Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for being selected as one of the 100 people to know in 2021. However, this honor could not have been possible without the generosity of our donors, the collaboration of our community partners, the leadership of our board of directors, and most of all, the hard work and dedication of our staff. And then finally, the ingenuity and creativity of the Neon clients, without whom Neon would not exist. Thanks to all of you, Neon will continue to shine its light on entrepreneurship and the transformation of North Minneapolis.
Hi, I'm Mike McMahon, Senior Vice President for National Healthcare at Ryan Companies. Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for this honor. I look forward to continuing our great partnership and collaborations in healthcare with Twin Cities business leaders and our communities to build a stronger Minnesota for our future.
Hi, I'm Ty Menzies, CEO at Lift Brands, the founders of Snap Fitness and numerous other leading global fitness brands. It's tremendously exciting to be named in the TCB100 this year, and I wonder if I'm the only one with an Aussie accent. 2020 has been a tough year for all, but keeping the people in our team as the number one priority will certainly see us emerge on the other side as a strong organisation. Good luck to everyone else.
Hi, my name is Rena Moran, State Representative from District 65A, and I am excited and honored to be recognized as one of TCB's 100. My work at the legislature around racial equity, eliminating disparities, and police accountability has been a highlight of my 2020 legislative session, and I look forward to going into 2021 to continue this work. Thank you, Twin Cities Business.
Hi, I'm Tim Miller. Thank you for the opportunity to join so many excellent leaders of this year's TCB 100. 2020 has been an incredibly challenging year, but it's reinforced the opportunity for Ecolab to demonstrate the value that we bring in terms of public health impact. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for adding me to this impressive group. I'm so flattered to be here. I think there's a lot of reason to be optimistic in the new year. I know we've been through a lot together in the last year. We've been through a lot of things that were really hard, but we've been through them together as a community. And I think 2021, we've got some great things coming around the corner. And I'm excited to be in the position that I am to share them with all of you. So thank you for the honor. I'm truly flattered to be here.
I'm Mark Nierenhausen with Hennepin Theater Trust. Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for this remarkable honor. We're busy working with our partners in the Hennepin Theater District to welcome everyone back when it's safe to enjoy live entertainment, colorful art, and community experiences.
Hi, I'm Rosie Nestingen, Tech Transformation Director at Best Buy. Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for including me on this list. Over the next 2 years, we've committed to hiring more than 1,000 new employees to our technology team, and 30% of those new hires will be diverse. Specifically, Black, Latinx, Indigenous, and women. I'm proud to work for a purpose-driven company that supports its employees and fuels my own personal passion of leading with inclusion.
Thank you to Twin Cities Business for this distinction. I really enjoyed getting to know the Twin Cities since starting as president and dean of Mitchell Hamlin. It's an uncertain time, but I think our law school is meeting the moment to turn out future lawyers who will be equipped to bring positive change to the world and to our community. I have confidence that many more of these Twin Cities people to know in future years will come right from Mitchell Hamlin. My thanks to all of you.
Hello, I'm Kate Nordstrom. I am the Executive and Artistic Director of the Great Northern. Thank you for the recognition. I am just so grateful to have the opportunity to champion and amplify the voices of such a rich, creative community here in the Twin Cities. Thanks again.
Huge appreciation for this award and recognition. Big shout out to all of my clients. A major thank you to my family, my friends, my partner. Y'all are super dope, always so supportive of what we do. We can't wait till 2021 to be back in front of you in person, helping to develop more racially just, equitable, bold leaders looking into the future.
Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for this incredible honor. It means a great deal. We know we have our work cut out for us in the next year. COVID-19 is redefining all of our lives, and this next year will be every bit the challenge we've had to date. Thank you.
I'm so honored to be taking the virtual stage with this group of powerhouse leaders, longtime colleagues, and some new and old friends. I'd like to dedicate this honor to the hardworking teams at Second Harvest Heartland who have been working around the clock since COVID began to keep Minnesotans safe, fed, and well. We've stepped up our work to create a better 2021, one that's defined by generosity and community, not just by desperation. Thank you for helping us get closer to that goal and for this honor.
I stand on the shoulders of an amazing team here at Elite. For 2021, we look forward to emerging from this pandemic stronger and even more resilient as we continue leading the transition to cleaner energy and to making our communities better places to live and to work for everyone.
Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for this award. I appreciate it. To the many women leaders, funders, organizations who supported me in my work, I appreciate you. My family, my husband, I love you and appreciate you. In 2021, I'm thrilled about a radio series with WCCO Radio called In the Room Where It Happens, conversations about racism that matters to all of us.
My name is Jack Ruler, and at the Mixed Blood Theater, our primary value has always been that adaptability is our sustainability. So when coronavirus happened and when the murder of George Floyd occurred, Mixed Blood was able to pivot. And with a really dedicated staff of compassionate people and a great work ethic, we were able to convert our firehouse building into a food shelter, into a COVID testing place, voter registration, census taking, flu shots, and more. And with the great support of the community philanthropically, and with goods, and with volunteerism.
Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for this honor. My brother Brian and I started Roars Companies in 2012 with a single apartment building in North Dakota, and now we've developed more than $800 million of product in 6 states. We're proud to be listed among the most successful private businesses in the region and the nation, and we're not slowing down. In 2021, we're growing our team, building bigger projects, and expanding into new markets. It's really an exciting time.
I'm Mike Roman. Thank you to Twin Cities Business Magazine for this honor. For more than 100 years, 3M has been proud to call Minnesota our home. And we will continue to do what 3M does best: use our science to solve problems, improve lives, and strengthen our community.
I'm Steve Ryan, partner in charge at Taft. And while I'm honored by this recognition, I'm even more excited to be working with so many business and civic leaders to build a Twin Cities community that is vital, prosperous, and diverse. Here's to a happy and healthy 2021.
Hi, I'm Sandra Samuels, President and CEO of the Northside Achievement Zone. Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for such an honor. In 2021, my partners and I, 30 nonprofit partners, will continue providing whole family and educational support to the parents and children in North Minneapolis who need it most, grounded in racial equity. Thank you.
Hi, this is Jeremy Siegel. I'm the CEO of Cruzy. Thanks, Twin Cities Business, for the recognition. Much appreciated. We're excited to announce that we have big plans in 2021. We intend to grow to over 300 people, and we've expanded our categories from the active lifestyle to home, kitchen, and fashion. Thanks for the support.
Hi, I'm Allison Sharkey, Executive Director of the Lake Street Council. Thank you for all your support of Lake Street this year. We're open for business, and with your help, we'll build back better than ever.
My name is Destiny Shelby, and I am the owner of Bake Brand and the founder of Black Entrepreneur State Fair. I just want to give a huge thank you to Twin Cities Business for recognizing me to be on their top 100 people to know list for the year. Forever grateful, and I look forward to everything that I have going for the year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for the honor. In 2021, you'll find me working toward our goal to triple Beta's impact on the startup community in Minnesota.
The word that comes to mind is gratitude. So much gratitude. Gratitude for being included in this list. Gratitude to our guests, our community, our employees. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And in 2021, we look forward to more gratitude, more community, more restaurants, more employees, and getting to know more of you. But most of all, what I'm looking forward to in 2021 is hugs.
I'm Joe Spencer, president of the St. Paul Downtown Alliance, and I am incredibly honored to be one of the TCB100 this year. As I look to the year ahead, I am so looking forward to having all of our workers and visitors and all of you back in downtown St. Paul.
I'm Danielle Steer, and I'm honored to be recognized by Twin Cities Business. At Lunar Startups, we're creating a more inclusive economy by accelerating companies founded by entrepreneurs who identify as Black, Indigenous, people of color, women, and LGBTQ. We can't wait to show you how we're scaling economic impact in 2021. We hope you'll join us.
Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for this selection. I am proud to head Dorsey and Whitney, and I'm proud of the role the firm and our people play in our community. We take social justice in all its forms seriously and seek to have our actions match our words. Again, thank you.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Brett Stringer, and I am thrilled to be one of the top 100 people to know from Twin Cities Business Magazine in 2021. So what am I excited about for next year? I'm excited about continuing the work that we started with Share the Mic Minnesota, and that really means taking people down the continuum and moving them from awareness to action and advocacy as we strive to make Minnesota a more equitable and just state for all people. I'm also excited about continuing to live my mission as a public speaker and lifestyle expert to help people live more authentic, connected, and mindful lives. So let's say, Carpe Diem.
Hi, I'm Sylvia Strobel, President and CEO of Twin Cities PBS, and I'm thrilled to be named to the Twin Cities Business 100. At TPT, we're continuing to deliver exceptional arts, history, public affairs, and educational content to the Twin Cities community during this challenging time. And we have some great new programming initiatives coming up in 2021.
I'm Eric Stiles, CEO of Your Six. Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for your recognition, and congratulations to everyone else on the list. We continue to grow in 2020, and we are well positioned to have another record year in 2021.
Thank you, Twin Cities Business. I am honored to be a part of this group of fabulous leaders. I'm looking forward to 2021 and working with my St. Thomas community and the broader community to build a second Division I athletic program in our state, as well as continuing our journey of embracing our common humanity and charting our shared destiny as a community.
Hi, I'm Mike Sullivan from Lathrop GPM, where I'm partner in charge of the Minneapolis office. For 2021, I'm most excited to serve our clients and help shape the future. I'm proud to be a member of the Twin City business community, and thank you for this honor.
Hi, I'm Taylor Surdick.
And I'm Emily Surdick. What a surprise and thrill it is to be honored by Twin Cities Business this year.
We're looking forward to an incredible 2021 in our new restaurant sidebar.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, Twin City Business Magazine. It's an honor to be included and recognized in the group of 100 people to know in 2021. This is going to be the best year ever, and we get to continue to do the work that we do for our community, our clients, and our coworkers, and the business community as a whole.
I'm Melvin Tennant, President and CEO of Meet Minneapolis, and I'm honored and humbled to receive this recognition from TCB. I accept it on behalf of our entire Meet Minneapolis team, and we look forward to enthusiastically restarting our industry in 2021.
Thank you so much for including me on this list. I'm thrilled to be included amongst these amazing business leaders. Having just had my firm's 5th anniversary at Studio BV, I'm so grateful for the wonderful clients and partners that make our work possible. I'm optimistic about the future and believe that design can change communities, bring us all together as we move into a new future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the honor from Twin Cities Business. It gives me an opportunity to highlight the magnificent team that is helping us rebuild here at Lake Street. As you can see behind us, we're coming back out of the ground, and it's just a wonderful opportunity for us to give appreciation all around. So thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Uhuru Williams, Founding Director of the Racial Justice Initiative at the University of St. Thomas, and I want to thank Twin Cities Business for this honor. We all know that we need to make conversations around dismantling systemic racism and racial prejudice a priority in the year ahead, in the Twin Cities and beyond, and I'm looking forward to that conversation.
I'm Yao Ya, Executive Director of the Minnesota Hmong Chamber of Commerce. Ochao Twin Cities Business for this recognition. Hmong Chamber is changing and making new ways for our business community. It's going to be an exciting year, 2021.
Hi, I'm Ping Ye, and I'm so honored to be a part of the TCB100 list again. We've announced a merger onto the NASDAQ, and this would not have been possible without the phenomenal team at Stemonics and our community.
Hi, Twin Cities Business. This is Charlie with Sezzle. First, I just want to say thank you for the recognition. Being named one of the 100 people to know in 2021 is really an honor. But I wouldn't be here without what we're working on with Sezzle, and I can't wait to see what we pull off in the next year. Keep an eye out for Sezzle Up. It's a product launch that we're excited about launching, which helps young consumers build their credit scores. We're excited to see how that rolls out. Thanks again, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Twin Cities Business, for including me in the TCB100. What an incredible honor to be a part of such a dynamic group. Amy Zaroff Events and Design did what any great event production company would do when the unexpected occurs, and we went to Plan B. We took events virtual, and we helped our clients achieve success differently. We also started an IGTV series called Today is a Reason to Celebrate, sharing stories of small business owners around the country who find ways to celebrate the small wins during these challenging times. In 2021, we look forward to taking that series to another level and hope you'll join us.
Quite a list, isn't it? Thanks to everyone on our TCB100 for sharing your thoughts, and in many cases, your homes, with us tonight. We can't wait to see what you pull off in 2021. And now, our People of the Year. In a year that will be remembered for so much hardship and so many challenges, we decided to focus on collaboration, because it's going to take a lot of decisive, brave leadership to make 2021 a better year. And so we honor 3 incredibly impressive individuals who are vital to the major issues we face today: health, equity and inclusion, and the economy. Here they are, your Twin Cities Business People of the Year. In February, when Mayo Clinic first started to grasp that COVID-19 was going to hit North America hard, Dr. Andrew Badley was chosen to lead its scientific efforts. As chair of Mayo's COVID-19 Research Task Force, Dr. Badley coordinates work streams ranging from data management and treatment modalities to remote monitoring and vaccine management. He joined Mayo in 2002 and has spent much of his microbiology career studying and treating HIV. Despite it being a rather dark period in the arc of this pandemic, Dr. Badley is bullish on next year. Scientific advancement that took 2 decades for HIV is happening in barely a matter of months for COVID-19. And that, the doctor says, is nothing short of miraculous. U.S. Bank Chief Diversity Officer Greg Cunningham is a vocal advocate of investment in economic inclusion. He's encouraged the bank and corporate America to move beyond philanthropy and work on equity. He advocates loans for Black entrepreneurs and aspiring homeowners, and he's helped facilitate millions in assistance this year alone. Already a prominent voice in diversity, equity, and inclusion work, Greg was promoted this summer to U.S. Bank's Management Committee. He's the first African American to serve at that level. And as someone who embraces bringing your whole self to work, Greg says he's proudest of the message his seat at the management table sends to the Black community, that progress is possible. In just 2 years as CEO of the giant Land O'Lakes Cooperative, Beth Ford has elevated the needs of Minnesota farmers and rural communities across America. Whether she's advocating on Capitol Hill for rural broadband access or working alongside the nation's best-known CEOs on income inequality, she's striving to make regional economies more sustainable. Ford clearly understands the power of partnerships. She's built them to help K-12 students get Wi-Fi access during the pandemic. She climbed to a board seat on the National Business Roundtable that's allowing her to work cooperatively to shape a more equitable economy. On behalf of everyone at Twin Cities Business, congratulations. We are thrilled to honor the 3 of you as our
People of the Year. This crazy year of 2020 felt like it required a team effort. We wanted to promote collaboration and decisive leadership, and that's all of you. So thank you for joining us today and for being part of this issue. I think my biggest accomplishment of 2020 might be getting the three of you on one Zoom at the same time. So let's dive in. You've all been faced with extreme challenges this year, even for leaders who are used to making tough decisions. What helps you stay focused on the work at hand? Beth, do you want to start?
Sure. I think for me, it really, what I thought about and what I've been thinking about beyond the first, oh my gosh, check the liquidity of the company, make sure you protect the enterprise, do everything like that you do as a business leader. I guess narrowed it down to the people. The people issue really keep me focused. Are we doing everything? Are we listening to our team? Are we listening to our members well? What are their concerns? We put up a hotline and we've received 20,000 calls. I think our Lauren here and our CHRO and the team have done a terrific job. There are multiple concerns, and I immediately went to my team and said, we're holding all of you. Some parts of the business will decline because of COVID. Others will surge. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But if you're on the part that declines, please I may say, can you answer the phone? Can you do X, Y, Z, something different? And let's just all be in this together. We're going to hold hands. We're going to go cross the river together to the other side. And so what keeps me grounded and focused is just focusing on the team and the people and their engagement, and are they okay? Their mental health, their physical health, their safety. Same thing for the members. And I think that's evidenced by some good results we've been able to achieve.
Absolutely. Greg, how about you? How do you stay focused and keep your head in the game with so much going on?
Allie, similar to what Beth said, I would also echo that the focus has to remain on people. And, as I thought about this question, every generation is faced with a unique challenge. And I think this is the challenge of our generation. And, whether this country has always been transformed in times of whether it be a war or some economic condition that happened, or some social condition or a health condition. Well, you could argue we have three of the four of those happening at the same time right now. And so, it really is, in the role of Chief Diversity Officer, my responsibility to really make sure that both as an organization and as a member of this community, that we're putting our employees first, we're putting our customers first, and we're putting our communities first. And so I just really embrace the responsibility, Allie, that comes with this incredible challenge in these incredible times. And, I think about those who came before me and responded to the call and sort of took on that burden with, just sheer will. This notion of accepting the challenge of this generation really does fuel me every single day.
Yeah. It's weird when you think about how we're like living through history. It's been said before, but it's actually happening. Dr. Badley, may I call you Andrew?
Of course you can.
Okay, well, how about you? I mean, have you left the hospital at any point? What has this year and everything being thrown at you, what has it been like for you?
So like Beth and Greg, our focus has been on the people. And not only is it our employees and our frontline healthcare workers, but it's also the patients. Back in March, when we were starting to see sick patients showing up in our hospital, we needed a way to treat our patients. And it's somewhat abstract to think of a patient population. It's very concrete when you have one patient in front of you who's sick. And in the early days, it was a struggle to get access to the experimental therapies. It was a struggle to understand what is the best way to ventilate a patient and what is the best way to manage their complications. And so we went from that single patient focused perspective to trying to put systems in place around that so that we could always be cutting edge in each of the domains. And so our task has been to access the experimental therapies, to prioritize between them, which ones make the most sense, which ones are the ones that we want to do, and then to put the processes around so we can get the required information for everything else, from testing, which tests work well, to why are some communities disproportionately affected by the infection and what can we do to help with the education and knowledge of those, to individual testing of potential drugs on virus. And so it's really been the focus on trying to respond to our patient needs. And it has been a lot of work, but it hasn't been a challenge because everybody at Mayo has that as our driving focus and our North Star. So the dedication of the team has been truly remarkable.
That's what you train for.
That's what we train for.
We'll dive in a little more to those specifics, but one more kind of general leadership and human question for all of you. It's certainly been a year of blurred lines. Here we are, at home, zooming into each other. How have you navigated those lines of personal and professional, especially when you're dealing with things that really kind of require bringing humanity to work? Beth, can you start?
Well, first of all, my office is up next to my master bedroom, which is funny. So I have 3 teenagers. When my daughter headed off to college, and I've got my twin boys who are 15. So you're right. There is a blurred line because I put a sign on the door like, I'm in a middle of the video. I'm in a meeting, and then I'd see one of them, low crawl into the room, in their underwear to get their technology. I'm like, I'm busy here. It's funny. Now I'm going to tell you why I think that's a gift. Not just personally, what a gift for me. I travel quite a bit on a normal basis. I get to see my children at this moment of their life as teenagers. It's terrific and messy and loud and crazy. But why I think it's a gift is that it provides access for my employees, for other people who see you as the CEO. They don't see you as a full person, right? So there's an intimacy, a leveling really that occurs. We're all on this Zoom. There's no level. And they see me and I see them, and sometimes my dog comes in or our cat or, and I see them and they got 2 kids behind them. And, so how do you deal with that? Well, I think you have to embrace it, right? You make time for the times you have. I do have concern, and I think your question is a really good one, because I say to my team all the time, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Take care of yourself. Please unplug, take a walk. Do something with your family that's not tied to you as the business person, because I need you fresh and I need your mental health and your safety as a priority. But I see it as, boy, am I lucky at this moment? Isn't it funny? I can give you multiple stories of why that's funny. But I also see it as a real blessing for my team and for me, this kind of great leveling and more intimacy in the way we see each other. And give each other moments of grace in a very difficult environment.
Greg, what about you? You have kids at home as well. You've certainly been in demand and on call at work. How do you navigate? And obviously talking about really personal topics at work, probably more so than ever.
Yeah, kids at home, not necessarily by choice, Allie. Both of my kids are college age and are back and forth and home, as you said. But as Beth said, that really has been a blessing. And I think for me, what's been the most interesting thing is that it's harder to sort of think about those times where I used to have transition. There were times where you'd leave the office and you have that hour, half an hour in your car, and you can decompress and sort of make that transition between personal and professional, and that's gone. And it is sort of this blurred scenario that you indicated, Allie. And I think there's something really interesting about that, though, because in the work that I do, there really isn't any white space between, who I am and what I value personally and what I actually do as a profession. And so there is a little bit of natural blurring that happens just because of what I do anyway. And I think I'm very fortunate in that regard. But I think your question about where do we go from here, I think what I've seen, though, is from a leadership perspective that this notion of compassion that Beth talked about is something that I see coming through even more evidently now. We're all sort of dealing with the same environmental factors, and there's this collectivism that's happening that I think is really refreshing. And it actually has given me a great deal of optimism about the future, because we're all sort of wrestling with all of these issues, and the technology has leveled the playing field. And, we're on really important calls sometimes and the technology doesn't work, and you just go, oh, well, what are you going to do? We all just kind of have to deal with it. And that's cool because it's just made us all feel really human. And I think we're starting to become first names and not titles, you know, in our workplaces. And I just think that's a really cool thing. And, you know, you're in meetings and someone's kid runs behind them in the background, and it actually helps you see them, you know, in a really different way. And I find that part of it quite refreshing, actually.
Sure. Andrew, I'm guessing a little different for you. Well, while we're all hunkering down at home, it's all hands on deck for you. What is that, you know, what is the line? How do you navigate the human side of this and the tragedy of what's been going on with the work at hand?
Yeah, so it is a little bit different, but there's a lot of common themes as well. So I live very close to work, 500 yards from work. And my wife is also an infectious disease physician. So we have lived and breathed this from day one. And it is common for one or both of us to get called in the middle of the night. And that's what we do. And as you said, this is what we train for. This is a moment of validation for all of our years of training and work. We haven't been at home much at all. And that's been partially good because I think we're doing some good for patients and for society and for work. I really want to follow up on the intimacy that Beth talked about. So we are seeing our colleagues in a much different form now. We see them 24/7. We see them in their houses. We see what motivates them and drives them and what their fears are. And I do think that it's bringing the workforce together in a much more coherent way. And I think that is a good thing. We see each other's vulnerabilities, we see each other's strengths, and we learn about ourselves through the process. So even though the work-life balance has been very blurred, I think that we are all growing as people and as leaders as we move through this.
Thank you. Beth, let's talk about Land O'Lakes for a minute. If you can think way back to the early days of this crisis, suddenly everybody at home, people eating at home, cooking more, shopping habits changing. What were some of the first things that you did to weather this pandemic?
Our business is more complex than most people are aware. We have Winfield Technologies, which is greater than a third of our business, probably $6 or $7 billion. It works with growers. Guess what farmers are farming, right? So that one, less bumpy, some trade issues, things like that. Purina, guess what? Animals are eating. And, so that's kind of going on. And actually, we've seen an accelerant in a couple of what we call our lifestyle business areas. So that would be bagged feed, Tractor Supply, big and rural dealers, big partners of ours. Guess what? Everybody has backyard chickens. I didn't know it was a thing. That's what's happening. So there's like 10 million backyard chickens or whatever, increase like 80%. So we're feeding those, and folks are taking care of their animals. They're nesting, right? They're nesting with their animals and their food. And so you see that, and our business there is quite strong. And then on our dairy business, which of course we're most well known for, our butter business, apparently everybody is baking and cooking, and boy, retail butter, it is just flying off the shelf. We had to reduce our SKU variety. We're reduced the different case sizes just to get as much as we could out there, even put folks on allocation. That's a high cost problem. Cheese, snack cheese, everything is selling well. On the other side, food service shut down, and probably 40 to 50% of milk supply. And again, we are farmer owned by dairy producers, owned by local retailers, owned by growers. Where are you going to head with that milk during peak, what they call flush, the highest, most productive time of the year for cows, which is in the spring. And so we had to deal with both of those. You had to be very agile to offset that decline that was dramatic, and the international issues for our international export businesses, that was dramatic. But at the same time, move to take advantage of the surge we saw in our retail demands in our Purina business, especially in our dairy business. I could not be prouder of our team. I'm telling you, this team engagement, their creativity, their fearlessness about making decisions. Maybe this taught us something, because we kind of, y'all want to make it perfect, and should we launch that? And what's going to be the no, we're just moving. We're just going to do it. It'll be imperfect. And from that, I mean, we've got just this new kind of culture where they're willing to try and they're working together as a tight team. So, go back to the team. I just couldn't be prouder of them. And, they were able to take advantage of the areas we could take advantage of and offset the variability, the downside.
We're recording this actually in mid-November. We're beginning to hear promising news about vaccines. I'm really curious, from your chair at the Mayo Clinic, are you as optimistic as some of the headlines we're seeing? And just give us a sense of how close do you think we are to having meaningful vaccines that can be rolled out nationwide?
So truly outstanding question. It's on the tip of everybody's mind right now. In a sense, I think we're very fortunate that this has occurred when it did. The state of science and our ability to measure and know and understand is unparalleled, and it's phenomenal. And so in a very, very short period of time, we've been able to learn so much about the immune response to the virus, and so many different signals are pointing to a strong suggestion now that we can get immune-mediated control of this disease. And in the past weeks, we've learned convalescent plasma probably has an effect. We've seen randomized trial data that recombinant monoclonal antibodies, which are part of the immune system, can have an effect. They got a lot of press when Donald Trump was treated with them. We had a press release a couple days ago here in Minnesota that one of these new antibody cocktails is being released under expanded use authorization. We at Mayo will begin to deliver that tomorrow. And so all of these together are pointing to a increased probability that the immune system can control the virus. And that's a big deal. For HIV, that's not the case. For hepatitis C, that's not the case. So this is a big deal. This is a branch point in our understanding of the virus. So if this remains true, it is probable that vaccines will be effective. And we saw some results a few days ago of the Pfizer vaccine trial that showed that out of 44,000 patients or so who were vaccinated or got placebo, when there were 64 infections, the majority of those infections occurred in those who received placebo. And that is more supportive evidence that vaccines can work. So I think it is probable, perhaps even by the time this is shown, that some of the first vaccines will be released for emergency use authorization. There are questions. We're still early in our understanding of this. Will this vaccine have to be re-engineered from time to time because the virus changes? We don't know. Will this vaccine cause lifelong protection, or will you require boosters? Don't know. But everything has been favorable so far. In fact, it's so favorable that I think it's fair to say we could not have asked for better data than what we've seen so far. So I personally think there's a lot of reason for optimism. There's also a lot of reason for ongoing study, and we and others will continue to do that.
Is the business community realistic right now? Will we be back in offices by summer? Are we too soon to be discussing that?
Another wonderful question. So I think that the corporate response to this, not surprisingly, has been all over the place, from woeful dismissal of this pandemic to over the top scare and neurosis almost. But I think there are a few true realities that are present. One is that we will never go back to the status quo that we had pre-COVID. Two is that companies like the companies that Beth and Greg represent have done wonderful jobs in adapting to the new norm. Some companies have triaged their workforce to say, never need to be on site, sometimes need to be on site, and created processes to allow for that fluid assessment. our understanding of the disease is changing so rapidly that what might be true today might not be true tomorrow. And we need to have that fluidity and willingness to adapt with the times. But those who have done the best, in my opinion, have done two things. One is they bring somebody who is knowledgeable in public health into their leadership teams to help advise on how to do things. And some have done a remarkably great job with that. And the other is to adapt digital technology, in some cases artificial intelligence-based technology, to adapt to changing times. And I think that we are going to be in for a much leaner execution of the workforce than we have been. And those who have adapted well, I think will and have and will continue to thrive.
Beth, any response to that? I'm curious, both you and Greg, what do you think of what Andrew's saying?
Isn't it Greg's time to answer something? No, I'm kidding.
No.
This is part of the pressure, the challenge. My team wants to know that. They want to plan their life. I think we all do. We don't know what the time fences are. It's exciting news to have Pfizer's great results. It's exciting news to see the therapeutics are seeing good results. But, I don't know, I'm going to agree with Andrew. I don't know that we'll ever go back to exactly what it was before, because on the positive side of that, not because of the disease, but rather because of, or the virus, but because we've learned some things that are actually more effective for the business or the employee, that would tell you maybe an adjustment is not a bad idea. And I think it's going to be a competitive environment for employees as you go back in. If a company says, not just, oh, you can work from wherever, but hey, we're going to meet you where you need to be. And these are the ways that we can be more flexible in the way we think of your work environment or your work situation. They're going to be a very attractive employer. As well, we're going to go through a period of time. Not everybody feels safe. Even if you get a vaccine, how do we feel safe? How do I feel safe about my family? What's going on in the community? So I think we're going to be in for a journey, but even there's no end to that journey. And we've learned some things. And as an employer, I think you're going to have to continue to keep your ear to the ground and listen to employees about what works most effectively for them and then for your business.
Greg, I do want to ask you the next question.
Awesome.
It's been called or referred to by people in my sort of chair, the other pandemic. But as we know, systemic racism is not a new issue. So you had said to me when we've talked earlier that we're sitting on a moment in history where the notion of inclusion is the biggest business opportunity. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I firmly believe that, Allie. I think that this notion of, how we are going to continue to grow our business and grow the pie for everybody means that we have to think about how do we get the best out of every single one of our employees. As you think about a leader who is building high-performing teams, this notion of sort of creating an environment where every single person on that team can demonstrate their superpower and can add differential value to that team and contribute in ways that makes the decisions more creative and brings innovation into the workplace. This notion of inclusion, and aside from all the demographic shifts which are changing, right? In the next 30 years, there'll be no racial majority in this country. And so that's a fact, like that data is unemotional. And so we know that's a fact. And so there's gonna be a critical importance played on employers to think about how do you integrate this demographic shift and this diversity into the workplace. Diversity is not the solution. Inclusion is the verb. Inclusion is the behavior that we need leaders to demonstrate. And one of the things that we've done that I think is important for all employers to think about is how do you tie this notion of inclusion to leadership expectations and performance? Because we know from the data, and it's a historical fact, and there have been many studies done on this notion that more diverse organizations, and I'm talking organizations that are more diverse at the board level, at the C-suite level, we know that they outperform those organizations that don't financially. There's plenty of data to support that. And so this notion of inclusion starts with how do you think about your employees and creating inclusive environments for your employees. But it also means thinking about how you're showing up for customers, how your products and services, do you have the right value proposition that actually takes into account the insights from communities of color and women and differently abled, all of these different segments that actually grow the pie for everybody. There's a study that was done recently, Allie, by McKinsey that talked about the racial wealth gap in this country. And the racial wealth gap today stands at about $1.2 trillion. If we close that racial wealth gap in the next 8 years, it would add anywhere from 4 to 6% GDP growth to the US economy and put about $12,000 into the household income of every single American. So there's an imperative here for every single person. And these communities that are suffering, we need to bring them up and create wealth in those communities so that we can grow overall and grow the US economy. So I think it's imperative on businesses to really look at this notion of inclusion as a strategic imperative alongside every other business imperative. It's one of the reasons US Bank decided to make diversity, equity, and inclusion a C-suite position, reporting to the CEO. It's that important as we think about the work that we do.
You know, Allie, if I could add to that, because I think Greg is spot on. Now, one of the things I love about the Twin Cities, and I've lived in multiple cities around the United States in my career, I've worked for 7 companies, 6 industries. And one of the things that I would recognize is the inclusion is part of the problem. Diversity, inclusion, we recruit well, we don't retain well. And one of the reasons is not just within the 4 walls of the building. It's not just within the organization. It's the community. Do you feel safe and engaged in your community? Do you feel like your children are safe and engaged in that community? And so what I want to go back to why I think the Twin Cities does a really terrific job, and so the business partners and the CEOs and other business leaders, not just the CEOs. I think that there are well-intentioned people to say we need to invest in the community to address these inequities, because it's bigger than, you hire the whole person. You don't just hire the person to be at your job site or in your company. You hire them, you hire their family, you hire everything. And I appreciate that there's been an earnest effort. There's been an ongoing earnest effort in the Twin Cities. We clearly need to listen more, because we're not filling, covering ourselves with glory here, and nor are, when most companies say, well, yeah, we've got this solved. We don't. This is going to be an ongoing journey. I agree with Greg. This is a point in time that there's an important focus on this as a strategic issue. But I would say the Twin Cities in the Minnesota area, in my experience from living in other communities, there's a need, a desire, and a willingness for others in the community to come together and say, we want to work together to solve these issues. And that to me is really encouraging and exciting.
Beth, what are some of the conversations that you had with your employees, in the days after George Floyd, and are there like actionable steps or goals that you've set for yourself at Land O'Lakes? Yeah, well,
my conversation is my listening. We have listening sessions, I think most companies did, to say what are the issues. It's an eye opener. It's painful, to listen, because I don't have that lived experience. And, the fear for your child, the fear to go out, driving while being a minority, and could you get pulled over? I mean, it's just, I'm like, what? This is wrong. So it's the listening piece that I think is what was most profound for the team. And then the requests, the commitments, can you please be transparent for the progress we're making internally? In terms of elevating Blacks and other minorities in their organization. Can you be transparent in the initiatives and efforts that you're taking? And we are doing that. We are trying to be very clear. What does our diversity look like within the organization? What progress are we making? What are the targets? We're also trying to, again, with Minnesota Business Partners, I also sit on the Business Roundtable Board. This wealth disparity. I'm on that committee, with a couple of senior leaders, Robert Smith and Jamie Dimon and others, to talk about this issue. What can you do? Now, there is no magic answer, right? This is about every day showing up intentionally, about the way you show up in the communities, the way you're treating your employees, the investments you make in your communities and your team. And we're trying to do that. And I wish I had a magic answer. I do not. I do have a commitment and a willingness to listen and to try, as I think many are. And I think that there's some concrete actions that are underway to try to address some of these issues. I don't want to look back at this moment 4 or 5 years from now and have the same conversation, like we missed our moment.
Right. Greg, what are some of the things that US Bank is doing to Beth's point, to make sure that we're not, ignoring this moment? You are obviously in a unique position in terms of economic health and loans and grants. What are some of the things that you're most hopeful about?
Banks do three things, Allie, in my opinion. Banks do workforce development, community development, and economic development. And I think the way we are thinking about being a catalyst to help solve some of these things I talked about is to think about those three areas. And I think about, making access to capital for minority-owned businesses. We know minority-owned businesses historically have been deprived of capital in order to scale, sustain themselves, and create jobs. And I think that's a really important part of it. We've actually made over $100 million in capital available to minority-owned businesses. And it's important because I want to, sort of touch on something that Beth talked about, which is this notion of investment. And I think one of the things we have to understand as a community is we have to look at these communities not as deficit communities. We have to start thinking about them from an asset perspective. And that for too long, I think we've, as a corporate community, only thought about investment in terms of philanthropy. But I think that has to change. And I think philanthropy plays a really important role. But I think we've got to invest in more innovative ways in these communities. And one of the ways we're doing it is making access to capital available. I also have to think, I think you have to look inside your organizations. I think, Beth, you're absolutely right. I think, most corporations rarely have a problem with hiring qualified, talented, diverse employees. The issue is typically they don't get promoted. We don't see them as leaders. We don't know how to coach them correctly. They don't get feedback from their leaders. And so very rarely do they continue to ascend in organizations at the same rates as their white peers. And so we have to do a better job of growing and developing the talent we have so that we don't have a retention problem, which is a huge problem in the region and I think in corporate America in general. And then the third part, is this notion of how do we as a leadership team begin to demonstrate a real conviction and a real commitment. And it starts at the board of directors. It starts in the C-suite, and beginning to think about diversity, equity, and inclusion as a strategic imperative, which I would really characterize, Allie, by saying it's all about accountability. All of us at Leaders know how to do it. When something is a strategic imperative, we're really good at setting goals. We're really good at holding people accountable to goals. We just need to do the same thing with diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so we've built some systems of accountability in terms of how we report out to our board of directors, how we report to the CEO, and how we report to every single business leader in our organization. So thinking about it not only as a problem across talent, but as a cultural issue that impacts every single area of our business. And so we're standing up a series of initiatives against those three pillars I talked about: workforce, economic, and community development, that will really catalyze wealth development in these communities. And I think you have to think about it in that context, that the talent and the employee part of it is foundational. But this notion of how it can catalyze business growth, I think, is really where the real opportunity lies.
Great. Andrew, I want to bring it back to the idea of these two pandemics. So we know that people of color have been disproportionately impacted by COVID-19. A lot of that due to economic factors, but are there any aspects of your research and your work that could be particularly beneficial or help us understand or make progress in the area of minority communities?
Oh, absolutely. It's actually striking how disproportionately the virus has infected and affected some of our minority communities. I remember very early on, March or April, we had an entire family of migrant farm workers who one member was infected, and they went to this small residence where there were multiple family members, and everybody in that family became infected, and it was truly heartbreaking. It's very, very true. There's likely a variety of reasons why this occurs. So one is the economic factors that we already mentioned. Another is some of our minority communities are disproportionately affected by those chronic medical conditions that are associated with higher risk. Now, that might be because of poorer access to healthcare pre-COVID, but that's a reality. So what Mayo has done thus far is a variety of things, and we have a lot more things to do. So one is because of language barriers and possible education barriers, one of the 18 work streams that reports to our task force is devoted to health disparity research. And what they have done is they've gone out and they've talked to communities and said, what are your priorities in understanding and getting your hands around COVID? And that has led to a huge effort in educational activities. And so there's been a lot of activity in what is the virus, what is the disease it causes, why is there a heterogeneity in terms of symptoms and outcomes, and there's been a lot of response to that. The second is we at Mayo serve a variety of different populations across our various campuses. And most of the clinical trial protocols that we see for these experimental drugs typically have translations in English and Spanish. That doesn't do a whole lot for our Somali communities here in Rochester, and it doesn't do a whole lot for our Navajo communities in Arizona. So this diversity work stream has put a lot of effort into creating translations of all of the documents associated with clinical trials and creating the availability of translators so we can have a meaningful back and forth as we're approaching that. Moving forward, a lot of our work will be on the science front. So different genetic backgrounds have different immune responses to the same protein. And there are genetic reasons for that, and understanding that genetic heterogeneity in terms of immune response, different genetic heterogeneity in terms of biologic response, do you get blood clots or don't you, all the way down to drugs are metabolized differently by different people. And there is often a very common genetic association with that. So all of these are being studied and tested. And more importantly, we're beginning to look at, does one particular drug class work better in this population than that population? And that includes an obese population versus a non-obese population, a Caucasian population versus a Hispanic population. And I think what we'll see in time, it's not going to be anytime soon, I think what we'll see is that there's going to be risk-based stratification for response to different therapies across a variety of fronts, including race and gender.
Anybody want to switch jobs with Andrew?
No, I'm
well,
so
if I had
glad
his
Andrew...
expertise, it would be an exciting time, but
Greg, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, I'm glad Andrew is in his job, and I find great comfort in having him in that role. And I want to draw a parallel there, Allie, because I think it's important. And what Andrew talked about is the disproportionate impact of COVID on communities of color. I think it's important to note that pandemics like this affect these communities because in so many ways of what we talked about in terms of this wealth gap and this notion of and how directly poverty affects communities of colors access to adequate healthcare, preventative measures, information. In many cases in these communities, you can't social distance. When you think about their housing situation, they can't social distance. They're disproportionately those employees on the front lines from a workforce perspective. And so this notion of helping to work through some of the poverty issues and the wealth gap, I think will have a profound effect on some of the things that Andrew talked about.
Couldn't agree more, Greg. So many of these racially diverse groups that are disproportionately affected, they're the ones who are on the front lines of the meatpacking plant, and they can't call into the Zoom call.
No.
So it's a profound disparity that as wealth is better distributed, hopefully will be minimized.
And similarly, and this has been one of our concerns, and you see it happening right now, rural communities that lack access to healthcare, who have underlying conditions and are not in a position to see a doctor with frequency and everything. This has been one of our major concerns during this pandemic. It's one of the reasons we talked with Governor Walz and other governors around the country, asking them to change. And I want to shout out the Mayo Clinic for your partnership on this American Connection project, where we're focusing on changing guidelines that allow a doctor, a physician, to write a prescription, for instance, for a patient without seeing them in person. So important to not overwhelm the hospitals, as well make sure reimbursement rates are the same as an in-person visit. And I think the Mayo, when we partnered with them and we had some success on getting those changes, the Mayo said that there's been more telemedicine visits in one day than they had all of last year. This is an accelerant, a stabilizer for underprivileged or underserved communities, including rural communities and minority communities. And I think that's an exciting moment that, again, we should translate into long-term, how can we take advantage of this change in a way that is helpful for the healthcare system and also stabilizes the towns and the communities.
Excellent.
Fully agree, Beth. The other thing I'd add to that is not only is it remote provision of healthcare, meaning a remote visit between a doctor and a patient, or a nurse practitioner and the patient, but it's also improved telehealth. So there's a huge amount of new technologies which are being developed and rolled out that allow for remote physiologic monitoring. And by that, I mean, there are apps right now where you can hold your iPhone up to your eye and look at the retina. And that means that you don't need to physically be seen by the physician to get your ongoing healthcare maintenance. And that's a true game changer in terms of being able to deliver care and making that delivery of care easier for the consumer. So healthcare is truly revolutionized by this.
Exciting times. And I want to end with this question for each of you. Thinking ahead, 2021, what gives you optimism in this moment? There's a lot of work. I'm sure you have very long to-do lists. What would you say are your key priorities, and what do you think are the biggest opportunities for your companies and for our community in the year ahead? Greg, you want to start this time?
I'm generally optimistic, Allie. Just the sheer will of, and I think Beth talked about this earlier, certainly in our community, there's just a will and a collaborative spirit in the public and private sector in this community to make change and to make real change this time. It's not going to happen overnight. I think this is work that happens every single day. This is work that you have to have a great deal of conviction around. And I just, the possibilities of what we can become as both a region and a nation just gives me hope. When I look at, the peaceful protests after George Floyd, and I saw this rainbow of color and gender, and, how communities can live in solidarity on issues of equality, that gives me great hope. When I think about how the private sector is coming together to jointly solve and address issues of whether it's the education gap or the wealth gap or all of these things, I think there's a real will And I think that's fantastic. And I think that we have a great deal of momentum. And I think our organization is really proud to be a part of that. And I'm certainly thrilled to be. I can't think of any other work I'd rather do than be the Chief Diversity Officer at US Bank right now. And to be a part of this great region, which is committed to doing the work and seeing different outcomes.
That's great. Beth, what about you?
Well, listening to people like Andrew and Greg give me great hope, terrific leaders, and that's exciting. I'd say as well, my team gives me so much energy and excitement and confidence in their willingness and to attack kind of not just the business issues, but the future kind of together. And I see that in so many different ways. So, I'd say that is an exciting moment. And then our members, our farmers, the owners, they're so resilient, unbelievably resilient. And in this time where they lack technology, they're having to have the teacher drive their homework out to the farm so that they can educate their children. They're not making a lot of money, but they start their day with optimism. I always say, well, you got to be an optimist to be a farmer, right? To be too hot, too cold, too wet, too dry, stuff happens, trade, whatever. And they are out there, they're just killing it. And they just are an inspiration to me. So I have a lot of optimism for the people part of this, the willingness for folks to engage, the willingness to give everybody a moment of grace and to say, we can do better. We're going to step forward and we're going to make it past this. I think 2021 will be a step towards that.
Great. And Andrew, we'll let you have the final word. Are we going to be doing this in person next year at this time? How do you feel heading into 2021?
So I'm incredibly optimistic. I like to make an analogy between HIV and COVID. So I'm old enough to have lived through the onset of the HIV epidemic, and just take a mental step back. It took us a couple years to identify the virus, a couple years to figure out the molecular biology of the virus so we can start designing drugs. It took us a couple more years to test drugs, and it was probably 5 or 7 or 8 years into it before we had our first hint of an effective therapy. And then it took another 15 years to start to combine these drugs together. And finally, we've got control of it. What we've done in COVID in 8 months is what we did in the first 15 years of HIV. We've identified the virus, we understand the molecular biology, we've designed new therapies, we've tested new therapies, we've had an FDA-approved therapy, and that is truly, truly stunning. And why we've been able to do that is decades of sustained funding of basic biomedical research. The tools that we have at our disposal today are unparalleled. The fact that Regeneron had on its shelf, or Gilead rather, had on its shelf a drug that was turned out to be effective against COVID is because there was research funding to allow for the development of Ebola drugs and Hep C drugs. And so we're in such a greater position today. What gives me hope for the future is that this foresight that we had will continue. We'll continue to fund biomedical research at an appropriate level. We'll continue to engage in global health initiatives like WHO. We will continue to fund public health initiatives so that the infrastructure is in place for the next epidemic, and there will be one. I don't know if it's a month or 2 months or 2 years or 2 decades, but there will be one. And so I'm optimistic that our ability to respond to the next threat is going to be so much better than the ability to respond to this threat, considering how much better we were with this compared to HIV 25 years ago.
Well, that's a nice way to end things, a nice note to cap a most challenging year. We're so lucky and privileged in this community to have leaders like you working on some of the most challenging issues of our time. Thank you all for your time, and congrats again on being our honorees at Twin Cities Business for People of the Year.
Thank you once again to our 3 phenomenal People of the Year, Dr. Andrew Badley, Greg Cunningham, and Beth Ford. We're grateful for the work you're doing. And to our TCB100, we'll keep an eye out for big things ahead. No pressure, of course. Thank you all for giving us a reason to end the year with a celebration. On behalf of everyone at Twin Cities Business and tonight's sponsor, Accenture, we hope tonight's program gives you optimism and inspiration for the year ahead. We appreciate you joining us and want to let you know that a recording of this event will be available online in just a few days. And the December-January issue of the magazine with everyone you just heard in it comes out tomorrow. Thank you again, and good night.